and a heartfelt namaste. I, Anuradha, would like to thank all of you for liking and subscribing to our YouTube and Spotify channels and writing in your shares, your comments, and your suggestions there. Today, we are going to talk about one another important part of the Panchang. As we all know that the Panchang has 5 parts. To repeat, it is the Tithi, the Vara, the Karana, the Nakshatra, and the Yoga. Each of them has their own importance. As we have discussed in number of Tithi videos, it is Venus and Moon which is responsible, shows a great deal about the Tithi, and it also tells us about a relationship and a money quotients. For those who haven't seen those videos, have a look at it and you will understand why or how your relationship progresses in a certain direction. We move on to the Karna. The Karna is equally important because the Karna talks about work. It comes from a root word of kar, which means to do. All of us have to do work in life, as Shri Krishna says in chapter 3, that if we do not do work, we will be responsible for the fail of society and ultimately will cause a lot of causal relationship issues also. So all of us are born to do certain work. What is the work that we are born to do? And how are we going to conduct that work? Is the work that we are going to do good for us or not? Is it going to be good, beneficial for us personally and at a larger level? All this can be ascertained from the Karna. There are 11 Karnas. In detail, we can talk about Karna for a long period of time, but as a gist of it, 8 Karnas are repetitive Karnas, and the rest 4 Karnas are a special lot which occur only on special days. Today, we'll pick up a special Karna, a different Karna, or one of the repetitive Karnas, say Kaulava Karana, and talk about what it actually means. Before we go into the Kaulava Karana, a few small things about the Karna itself. The Karna composes of a deity. Every Karna has a deity associated with it. Every Karna has the major planet, Mercury, the planet of work. Let's not forget, Mercury gets exalted in the 6th house of the natural zodiac, which is said to be the house of Prarabdha, which is said to be the house of commerce, as it is an Artha sign. And it is the house that leads us to complete a part of our destiny that we were born with. So the Karna tells us the work that we are born to do, the work that we would progress in life doing, and whether that work would give us a name, fame, or would it take us on the opposite side of this radar. So this deity and this Mercury is also associated with a particular planet in a sequential order, and we find that that planet also has a lot to say about the way your profession, job, career, business is going to progress in life. And are we in tandem with it? Are we listening to what that planet is going to tell us? The reason being that, in fact, there's also an animal associated with the Karna, and we can understand with it how we are going to work. Now, the reason why we associate, we need to check out the planets, these planets, especially Mercury and Mars, is that they will give us an overview or a bird's eye view in certain cases, if we take the D10 also, as to how the career is going to pan out. Now, when I'm talking about Kaulava Karana in specific, then the deity associated with it would be Mitra. As I told you, the element is Mars itself, and it's Mercury. And the lord that is associated with this particular Kaulava Karana is Mars. A preview on the deity, the Mercury and Mars. When we talk about the deity, the Mitra, as the name suggests, means friends. So these people end up making a lot of friends in their workplace, or rather they would have a strong circle in their workplace. A strong business circle can be seen very nicely there. Then Mercury, as we have already discussed earlier, that it represents the work that one does. For all the reasons, apart from the sixth house, Mercury also owns the third house of the natural zodiac, talks about your hand, and talks about the work we are able to accomplish with our courage and our own initiatives. So Mercury becomes an important part when we talk about Karna. Mars in specific, allotted to a Karna, talks greatly about our our ability to take strong initiatives, be courageous, take probably risks and decisions that are very foresighted, and give us a very helpful need or push in our career. But does this Mars have to be good all the time for to have a good career? For those who are born with Kaulava Karana, yes. Why so? Because if Mars is a planet which is not favorably placed, which does not own good houses in your chart, you may not be able to do a good job for your own selves. And that can be seen very well with the help of these two charts. In Warren Buffett's chart, I take up the Kaulava Karana again because he was born under the Kaulava Karana. As we see, Mercury for him is exalted in the 10th house. Mercury owns the 7th and the 10th house, both houses related to profession. So yes, even if there is a debilitated Venus, Venus is the lord of the 11th house of money. Venus-Mercury combination gives plenty of money, debilitated or otherwise. Also aspected by the 5th lord, Mars. Mars gives him the luck. So yes, that's a good place for Mercury to be in. Having ascertained that, we move on to Mars because Mars is very important for Kaulava Karana. Mars is in the 7th house with the Lagna Lord, and Mars is also the Lord of the 5th house and the 12th house. The 5th house talks about luck in business. The 5th house talks about the share markets. It talks about your gambling. It talks about your ability to take the risks required. And Mars obviously gives one the risk or the ability to take the risks. The difference here is Mars is with Jupiter. When Mars and Jupiter are together, we have made a video on this. If you haven't seen it, please do, so that you will understand that Mars and Jupiter gives one a foresight. It gives one an ability to see through or see into things that others are not able to understand, and have a long-term view of things, which if you read Warren Buffett's life, you will be able to ascertain very, very beautifully. Again, the second lord is also aspecting Mars and is mutual. There is mutual aspect. So here we'll see that he would have a very keen eye on the technical aspects also. Mars, all in all, is favorably positioned, and as it is the 12th lord, will give him the ability to move his hands, or to keep his fingers in all pies and move into foreign shores also. So as such, this Kaulava Karana brings him lots of luck, lots of ability, lots of chances, lots of opportunities to prove himself. Let's move on to another chart. An equally famous, or should I say notorious, chart that we come across is that of Dennis Allen. He was one of the criminals in Australia who was very much feared. I mean, he could murder people at the drop of the hat. When we look into his Kaulava Karana, we see that again, we take the deity Mitra. Mitra as a deity gave him a good network. He was able to hunt people down anywhere, everywhere in the world. He was, as I repeat, and it bears a repetition, he was one of the most feared people in the whole of Australia. His death was equally bad, if I can say so. Now, let's look into his Mercury. Mercury is his Lagna Lord and the 10th Lord, signifying profession in the 3rd house, things that he takes an initiative to do on his own. So his profession is something that he chose to do. He is something that he took an initiative. And yes, he did it for money through and through. We also see Mars now. Mars for his Lagna is not a good planet because it is the Lord of the 3rd and the 8th, both signifying change, both signifying violence. When Mars aspects the 3rd house, it gives a person an unprecedented courage to do things recklessly. Mercury gives quick answers. Mars and Mercury combination can be devastating because the person acts first and thinks next. So here, in his case, if you read his biography, if you read his literature on Wikipedia, you will see that he was ruthless in his work. He did not consider any life form important, and went about doing his work with total non-mercy or total disrespect for any form of life. When you look into the axis that Mars is in, Mars is on a Rahu-Ketu axis, making it extremely powerful because it is with Ketu. Ketu acts like Mars, and in the 12th house, it gives you an ability to take life, deal with life. You can be a healer and you can actually be a murderer too. With Mars aspecting the 3rd house, its own house, it gives you the capacity to murder people. Now, would that murder come all on its own? Let's not forget that Mars is on the Rahu-Ketu axis, and Rahu is in its own house, own nakshatra, with Moon, the 11th lord of money. And for money, the mind is always disturbed. Rahu-Moon combination gives you hallucination. It gives you mental disturbances. Topping it all with the aspect of Mars, it gives you criminal disturbance mindset also. And on the 6-12 axis, it makes you ruthless when it comes to talking about money, especially as Moon is the 11th lord of finances. On the Lagna is the debilitated 2nd lord and sitting with Saturn again, which gives him, Saturn is the 5th lord and the 6th lord says money and name are the things that he cared about. So we can see that even if two people can have the same Karana, but if there is a change in their way of thinking or in the chart, that is the positions of Mars, the position of specific planets, to be honest, and the Lagna makes all the difference when we talk about the Karana. The Karana can give you a lot. The Karana can turn you into a criminal, as we saw. So whenever we are talking about occupation, whenever we are talking about profession, whenever we are talking about the person's character in terms of his wealth-earning abilities, we should not neglect the Karana and the planets associated with it. Till we meet with you again, stay safe and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and write in your suggestions.
Please hit the bell icon for fresh updates. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on the videos, and please subscribe to our channel.